Real estate expert reveals why people are not jumping into the housing market. Let's get it going. I have not watched this yet with a headline like that. I have to.
Well, as the
Breaking
Fed looks
news.
like it's set to cut rates next month, could the housing headaches finally see some relief? Freddie Mac reporting mortgage rates have fallen to a 10-month low. The 30-year right now, the fixed, is at 6 point.
It's crazy that we've been in above 7 for so long where that, it's like, oh, it's not that bad. In my experience, in my personal experience, what I've seen, and along with talking with coworkers who are also agents and talking with sales reps at new builds, below 7 and really close to 6.5, between 6.5 to 7 window, is when we really start to see buyer activity pick up quite a bit. We found below 7 is a sweet spot, and especially 6.5. So 10-month low, 6.5, not pissed.
5-6% compared to last week's reading of 6.5.
Because there has been times where we'll just briefly kiss this range, but not for long. So hopefully it stays.
6.58%, excuse me. But the average rate on a 30-year loan 1 year ago was at 6.35%. And as more buyers are holding on to their cash, sellers are getting just as frustrated with the sluggish market. Joining me now is a Fox Business.
Yeah, man. They call it a buyer's market for a reason, because the buyers are the ones winning. So be a buyer. Get out there and win. Because I just had someone I got under contract where the builders get desperate at this kind of time too, where the market's slow like this. And honestly, they figure out ways to make it doable for people. Our buyer that we just got under contract last week and a new build, they're getting a fixed 3.9% rate. Not a buy down, not temporary, fixed. So I'll take it. So a market like this, they call buyer's market for a reason. Get out there.
This exclusive is Sotheby's international realty broker and global real estate advisor, Jenna Stauffer. And Jenna, it's great to have you here and talk about this topic, as you know. The summer was interesting and the spring because the market seems stuck again. Everybody says it's interest rates. Well, now we're at a 10-month low. Are you seeing that motivate buyers at all?
Yes.
Just a little bit more?
100%.
Anything that can help on the affordability front is definitely a big thing, specifically for these first-time home buyers. If you can shave some money off of their monthly payment, that can be very huge for them. But when we're
real quick, and it's not just some money. I think I did the math, and they were saving like $700, if I remember correctly, compared to the 3.9 rate versus whatever the market rate was when they got under contract a week ago. So this literally saves you hundreds of dollars. Do not sleep on this. The interest rate matters way more than price ever will, because people buy houses like they buy cars based off payments. It's what it comes down to. Who cares what the price is? The payment is what matters. Your interest rate is your saving grace or your guillotine.
We're talking about buyers right now, their psychology has shifted so much this year. So buyers really, they had FOMO, a fear of missing out. They had to get into the market. That has totally changed. Now they have this fear.
Yeah, it's funny that buyers don't have that same mentality now. People are just so scared to buy when no one else is. But that's the best time to buy. It was a nightmare to be a buyer back in 2020, 2021, where things were just insane. You're competing. I'm not kidding. I would ask the listing agent how many offers you have, because we had a client we want to put an offer in. And he was like, right now, last count was 20. It's like, dude. And when you're up against 20 offers, it's a pretty steep hill to be up against. It's not fun to be a buyer. Being a buyer right now is way better. She said sellers are tired. Sellers are desperate. They want to make a deal, especially new builds. I've seen some crazy, and I've gotten some crazy incentives for buyers. This year we got somebody a 1.9 for their first year, 2.9 for the second, and the remaining life of the loan, 28 years, he had a 3.9 rate. And landscaping package, and his closing costs covered. I think he even got an appliance package. So times like this is, I don't understand why it's the flip flop where people are scared to get in now. It's literally a buyer's market. It's in the name. Get out there. You don't want to be competing. That competing sucks because you don't have the upper hand as a buyer. Don't do it.
Of overpaying. So buyers are just, they want their powder to dry, right? They do not want to jump into the housing market because they have this fear that they're going to be paying at the top of the market. And then you have sellers.
I haven't come across that. and kind of a while, to be honest. The fear of overpaying, it's more so just been interest rates, which is a valid
that
reason.
are holding on to their dream price. They don't want to let that dream price go. So there's this gridlock that just can't seem to break.
But at some point, that's got to change. I mean, that's what history shows us, is that, the real estate market over
Time heals all wounds.
the decades that I've covered and participated in it, which is now over 30.
So we have an investment property, and when we were fixing it up, we bought it all original. It was a time machine from 1984. We had pink countertops. It was ridiculous. Anyways, the guy who I hired to do the work, he had bought a house like peak 2005. No, what was it? Crash 2008. Yeah, so he bought 2006, 2007. Whenever the peak was, he bought right at it. He paid all the money for it. He went through a roller coaster. He saw his value go from 300,000 all the way up to, I think now when we talked, it was like almost 7. But he saw a roller coaster where he bought it. It tanked hard, but he was like, I can afford the payment. The house is nice. I still like it. Who cares? It's like if you're trading, it's only a loss if you sell. That's the same thing with real estate. He's like, it doesn't matter. He's like, I'm not going to sell it. I'm going to hold on to it. It still fits my needs. It still makes me happy. I still enjoy where I live. So he's like, I don't care if it's worth $1. Okay, it's a little extreme, but he's like, I still love it. And sure enough, time heals all wounds, and he's back up again.
I look and I see ebbs and flows. And this is the first time I have seen the market so locked up in my experience. The other thing is that we are expecting the Fed to cut rates by at least a quarter point. There's almost certain chance next month. When we saw rate cuts before, it didn't really impact mortgage rates like we thought it would because of the bond market.
Yeah, exactly.
What are you expecting?
They're not directly dominoed. There's several dominoes between interest rates being cut and mortgage rates. People think it's just, levers down, interest rates are low. No. There's a lot more. And like you said, it's all due to the bond market.
Now.
Right, and it will be determined as to what will happen to mortgage rates if we get this cut in September. But look, what it does is it starts the spin cycle of a lower rate environment in America, and I think that is huge. I think also going forward.
You know who's waiting? If you're a home buyer out there, you know who's waiting for home prices or home interest rates to drop? You and thousands of other people. I'm telling you, I sound so dumb, but just secure the house and you can refinance later. I hate saying marry the house, date the rate, but it has some truth to it.
Forward, something that has happened this year, I think you have to find the silver lining in the housing market. You have to look for positive. And one of the big positives that we've seen this year is that there is more inventory. We're on 21 consecutive months of year-over-year inventory growth. We have more sellers than we have buyers in the market. So historically, when you have more supply than you have demand, this is when you see prices drop. Now, we're not really seeing.
Okay, so right now on the MLS, we have 23,932 homes for sale. Now let's just go to Maricopa, because Maricopa is the main kind of county where all the cities tend to fall under. County, let's do Maricopa. And I'm in Arizona for reference. So we have 17,597. Oh, wow, look at this. That's interesting. $1. There's a couple at $1. Oh. It's an auction. But you know what? I don't hate it. That is one way to really let the market determine the value of the home. Look at that. But anyways, I digress. 17,597 homes for sale in Maricopa County. They say a balanced market where it's not favorable for buyers or for sellers. It is smack dab in the middle. Fair playing field for everyone. They say that's like 25,000 to 30,000 homes for sale. So, technically, we're in balanced market. Check that out. And I've seen us hover around this 23 to 25,000 homes for sale mark for kind of a while, which is good because it's keeping us from going to free fall. Because if we just saw this number skyrocket in 'Cause I think in 2007 or 8, it was 50,000 homes for sale. That's not good. That's not what we want. So we have a decent amount of homes for sale.
A huge
Not good, not
drop
bad.
in prices.
Makes no sense to me.
We're seeing very modest price drops in a lot of cities across the country. Again, it's very modest, but I do want to note that I think it's very positive that we're seeing deceleration in price growth. So Case-Shiller was reported this week. That did show us the numbers for June. So it came in at 1.9% annual price growth.
See, the thing with, what does she call it?
So Case-Shiller was reported.
The Case-Shiller index, they're a very lagging indicator. They're 3 months behind. So they post data that happened 3 months ago. So this is a snapshot of 3 months ago. So that's where the Case-Shiller, I don't like it, to be honest, because it is a outdated chart. But now what we're going to start seeing, this is why buyers markets are the markets to be in if you're going to buy. So we're going to look at Maricopa County, just because that's where all the major cities are. We're not going to be on the way outskirts with nothing. So, is this refreshed? All right. So 56% of home sales in August had sellers contributing to your closing costs as a buyer. Take a peek. Look at that. $10,000 is a median amount of concessions given. On a regular home, that is all of your closing costs. So sellers are paying your closing costs. Let's break it down by price range. So the starter price range, I hate saying starter because any home is a great home to start. It's all relative. Anyways, so almost 70% of home sales in August between $350 and $400 had sellers contributing to closing costs. That is fantastic. For, once again, even more, 10.6. That is extra money where if you don't use all of your closing costs, you can get a home warranty for a year or two. It's really time to be a buyer. Like I said, they call it a buyer's market for a reason, because you as a buyer are winning in markets like this.
This week, that did show us the numbers for June. So it came in at 1.9% annual price growth. Look back at Case-Shiller in January, it was at 4.1%. So there really has been a lot of deceleration. And what's happened is that's really given wages, it's given income levels a chance to now keep up with this price growth.
It's interesting.
Outpace it.
Well, so, you mentioned some of the cities. Redfin had come up with sellers markets. It says there's only 5, quote, they say sellers markets. And listen to this. This is Minneapolis, Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, Nassau County, New York, Newark, New Jersey, and New Brunswick, New Jersey. Those are the only sellers markets they can truly identify.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay.
It's the Northeast.
Let's fact check lifetime or real time. So this is a site called the Cromford Report, Daily Real Estate Market Insight. The only thing this company does is process and chart analytical data for the real estate market. So we actually saw a lot of cities coming into a seller's market. Oh, look at this. This is exactly what I was looking for. Oh, baby. Check this out. Okay. So market index 100 is balanced. It's not favorable for you as a seller or for you as a buyer. It's completely chef's kiss, smack dab in the middle. Fair for everyone. So last month change versus index now. Paradise Valley, 7% increase. They have such high prices. It's a really weird niche market in Paradise Valley. That's kind of where the ballers go. Same for Fountain Hills. Scottsdale, a 26% jump from last month, which was a balanced market, jumped into a seller's market. Chandler, same thing, 10%. Still soft seller's market, but now even going harder. Look at all this. There's only one of the 17 major cities in Arizona. There's 2 cities that have actually had a negative, growth, but change from last month to this month. And that was Tempe from 85 buyer's market to even more of a buyer's market. So it tells me Tempe is kind of where sellers might be a little more desperate. So if you have some flexibility where you can live, Tempe might be a good spot. Maricopa is on the outskirts. The outskirts of town, they really kind of are the first to go into a buyer's market and the last to come out because they just have the economies to weather kind of tough economic times. So they're the first and last to feel the relief.
Areas in the country that are now really holding up the best. The Sun Belt
not for us.
states,
Look at
Mountain
all
West, they're the ones
Almost
that really
all
have
of them are in
the
buyer's
changes.
markets or sellers markets.
What about the rental side of the market? Are people still going out and renting? Is that because, with this younger generation, they may be getting into the stock market. We've seen that data, the Gen Z, but they're not going for that first home. And we're seeing the average age of that first-time home buyer go up, which I think is interesting.
The average age of the first-time home buyer up to 38 years.
Amazing.
Which is just...
It's kind of, I've been doing real estate for 11 years, and I've sold to a lot of first-time home buyers, and it's a lot of younger people. So whenever I see stats like this, I can't really resonate with agreeing, because I've had kids that were literally 21, 22, 23, early 20s buying homes. I think only off the top of my head, I had one couple where they were late 30s and that was their first home. So this I do not see in my personal experience.
It's crazy how much it has jumped over the years. Affordability.
But real quick, while they were talking about rents, I pulled up this chart. Look at how nice and stable. This is a monthly average lease price per square foot has been. It has been very stable for the last 3 years. It's the same price per square foot as it was 3 years ago. Now let's look at just in homes. Okay, come on. I don't want that. Bink, bink. Dude, it's the same story. Rents have been super stable. It's been odd because we see this climb. You know what? We like it here. We'll hang out.
Is the biggest thing. I think that people do want to get into the housing market. They would like to stop paying rent, but it is so challenging. You really have about 28% of listings are affordable for the typical household. So affordability,
What's affordability? We'll call it 400, right? To me, that's an affordable house. That seems. So we'll do current price. So of those 23,900 and whatever it was, 87 homes or 8,700 homes for sale. Let's get them out. Let's look at it on the map. Computer's gonna freak out trying to index all these spots. Nope. Dude, look at these options. There's affordable homes for sale everywhere, no matter where you want to be. More auction homes, $1. Okay, now this includes condos. Let's drop it to detached homes, about half. What do I expect? There's still homes everywhere. So this affordability nonsense is exactly that. It's nonsense, except for Scottsdale. You can see a nice little cake cutout right there. That's where the ballers are.
choke point that we just continue to hit, and we have a long ways to go, even with these rates that have ticked down just a little lower with this deceleration in prices too. We have a long ways to go for affordability.
I wonder too if the rates are...
So when times are like this, companies know, lending companies, companies being new home builders, they know they have to do something. Otherwise, their bottom line is going to get even lower. They need to make money. So what happens in markets like this is really cool and unique ways come out that builders find ways to make homes affordable for people, whether that's buying the interest rate down permanently, temporarily, getting not exactly dream rates in the 3s, but I've seen a lot in the 4, 4.5s. But if a market rate is almost 7, I'd be pretty happy with 4, 4.5. And statistically speaking, the average rate is higher than that. What is the average mortgage? No. I want to see like lifetime overall. Anyways, I don't know if it's gonna be able to find that. But
They're going to start to fall ahead of that decision, and then it'll already be priced in. But, I don't know. We'll see. Real quick before you go, big story.
Yeah, the point I was making. I just got a text, I think last week, there's a down payment assistance program that's coming out at a 6% fixed rate. That's incredible. So you get a lower than market rate and you get your down payment literally given to you. In a market like this, we saw that we can get sellers to pay for some or all of your closing costs. I don't know. I'm confused as to why buyers are not rushing in a buyer's market. This is your time. This is what everybody's waiting for.
Following today on Fox Business is Lisa Cook, but it's Bill Pulte's allegations against her about mortgage fraud that I wanted to ask you about, because and this is something maybe a lot of people don't know about. Different. But you can have a primary residence, and then if you buy a second home, you either say it's a second home or it's a rental property, investment property. I mean, these are things that you declare with lenders, and whether or not she did or she didn't, we don't know. These are allegations, but it made me wonder, and the Wall Street Journal pointed it out this morning. If it was that easy for Bill Pulte to find this information, then why don't Fannie and Freddie, why can't they scan for mortgage fraud? Why don't lenders, banks? They should be able to check a random database. If he could find...
It's not hard to hack or cheat the system. You buy a house. It's your first house. You put 3.5%, 5% down. Live in it for a year and a half. You put some tenants in there. And now you keep that property and you go buy another one. But now that one's your primary. So you don't need to put 15, 20, 30% down because it's an investment property. You're going to live in it. It's going to be your primary. So just buy it, live in it a year, move out, and rinse and repeat. That's what we do. And it works.
Why can't
and not mortgage fraud.
Lenders do that? Because it is mortgage fraud if you do that.
Right.
Lie about it.
Yes.
You just can't lie
One thing
about
that I know for certain is that if you are saying something is your primary residence, you are going to have a much lower rate than if it is your second home, if it an investment property. Those are much riskier, so those are going to come with a higher rate.
Yeah, well, Jenna, I have to just real quick say that people can see you on American Dream Home, and we're going to have a American Dream Home this weekend.
Buy your American Dream Home from your boy. That's it for now.